As a nutritionist, I can't help but notice the contemporary shopping basket brimming with denatured, processed, and even synthetic foodstuffs. As an anthropologist, I can't help but recall that we evolved over millions of years on a very different diet, eating a wide range of wild and unprocessed plant and animal foods. For more than 98% of our time as hominins, we ate simply what we could gather or hunt in any given location during any given season. Our entire physiology evolved in adaptation to these natural parameters. Today, we have almost exactly the same genetic machinery and the same physiological requirements of our early human late Paleolithic ancestors of nearly 90,000 years ago. However, today, we nourish ourselves in dramatically different ways. This nutritional discord between our evolutionary diet and today's eating patterns bear great consequences for bone health and the rise of degenerative diseases in general. This discussion is on paleo eating and how does today's diet different from the diet we evolved on. Nearly all of the last 2 to 3 million years of human evolution occurred in what is known as the Paleolithic or Old Stone Age, a time of widespread use of stone tools, like this arrowhead, and other handmade implements for successful hunting and gathering. More successful hunting allowed humans to survive in colder, even glacial climates, hence the popular image of Paleo folks as Ice Age big game hunters. The Paleolithic period covered millions of years of diverse environments, climates, and varied nutrient sources. Nonetheless, anthropologists have been able to reconstruct an average late Paleolithic eating pattern, and this reconstruction demonstrates that our physiological and genetic machinery evolved in adaptation to a very nutrient-dense diet. Paleolithic versus contemporary nutrition. Let's take a look at that. The mineral intake was 2 to 8 times higher in Paleolithic times than it is today. This is all except for sodium. Sodium intake was at least 5 times lower than today at 760 milligrams, while our potassium intake was 4 times higher than ours today at 10,500 milligrams. Things like manganese were also many more times higher than they are today. Vitamin intake was estimated to be 2 to 6 times higher than ours. For example, vitamin C intake was more than 6 times higher and vitamin E intake 4-fold higher. Folic acid and vitamin A intakes were twice as high as ours. Fat intake was estimated at 2/3 of ours at 21% of total calories, including almost a 1-to-1 ratio of beneficial omega-3 fats to the omega-6 fats. Today we consume 30% of our calories from fat, including some 10 to 15 times more omega-6 than omega-3 fats, with 18% of our fats being refined vegetable oils, including substantial amounts of harmful trans fats. Paleo diets had no processed oils or trans fats or any refined vegetable oils. When we look at protein, we see that protein intake was generally twice that of ours, estimated at 1/3 of total calories. There were abundant plant and animal sources of protein, including wild animals, which have low body fat. Fiber intake was 5 to 8 times higher than ours at 100 to 150 grams per day, as opposed to our current 15 grams per day. Carbohydrate intake was similar to ours at 46% of all calories, but all carbs were from whole, unprocessed wild foods. Refined sugar intake was non-existent, and there was only some occasional use of honey, as opposed to today, where 15% of all our calories come from sugar. Today we average 20 teaspoons of added sugar a day, totaling about 50% of total caloric intake, including 10% of these calories which come from the more harmful fructose. Grains and cereal intake was non-existent. Today, refined grains comprise 32% of our diet. Dairy beyond infancy was also non-existent. Today, the average of us consumes nearly 400 pounds of dairy per year, or 2 cups per day. When we look at acid-alkaline balance, we see that the paleo diets were largely alkaline forming due to high potassium intake from vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds. On the other end of the scale, contemporary Western diets are low in vegetables and fruits, yielding an average 50 milliequivalents of excess acid daily. Alcohol intake in Paleolithic times was none or minimum, as opposed to 7 to 10% of our current diets being composed of alcohol. Stay tuned. In a subsequent blog, I will provide you with 10 tips for regaining the Paleolithic edge. Be well, and may you enjoy lifelong healthy bones.